Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift_NoDQ. I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQvideo. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one, which comes from Bader the Viper. Hey Aaron, do you see AJ Styles regaining the WWE Championship and feuding with Randy Orton for the title at WrestleMania? How these two haven't crossed paths in a lengthy feud since the brand split is beyond me. I would not rule it out. I mean, there's always the possibility that AJ Styles could regain the title, and then you have AJ versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, which I could see happening whether the title is on the line or not. I feel like we are due for a solid Randy Orton versus AJ Styles feud. Like you said, they really haven't crossed paths that much. They've maybe had a match here and there, but they haven't had like a full-blown feud yet. I just don't know if AJ is going to win back the title, nor do I think it's really the time. I feel like Daniel Bryan is red hot as the WWE champion. He has the eco-friendly championship, and I feel like WWE should give this some time to breathe and not just cut it short. I think Daniel Bryan should stay champion until at least WrestleMania. So I just don't feel the timing is right for AJ to win it back. However, anything's possible. Got this one here from OG85. Hey Aaron, who do you think is going to be Daniel Bryan's opponent at WrestleMania? I have no idea, and I'm not sure WWE knows. It's not like the WWE title is the priority. And I hate to say that, but let's be real here. Smackdown, it's the B show. Maybe when WWE starts on Fox with Smackdown, we'll see Smackdown get more of an emphasis. But Smackdown and the WWE title, it's all secondary. So I think WWE planned out the main matches, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch with possibly Charlotte being added, and then Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Those are the main event matches. WWE title, whatever. WWE will just book whatever match they feel like. And they may have not even come up with a final decision regarding Daniel Bryan's match for WrestleMania. Now, looking at the possibilities, who do I think is the most likely? I have mentioned this before, John Cena perhaps going for his 17th World Championship, although he is reportedly doing a movie into early April, which would mean he would basically have like a 1-week build for WrestleMania with him being on television, unless WWE just had him do appearances via satellite, but what fun is that? You have AJ Styles again. WWE could do a final match between those two, maybe some sort of stipulation, like a Falls Count Anywhere, no holds barred, Hell in a Cell, any number of things. That would be a reasonable option. Maybe you could have Samoa Joe in the mix. You could do Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan, maybe either turn Joe face, which I'm not sure how that would work, or maybe Daniel Bryan somehow becomes a babyface again. Maybe Rey Mysterio versus Daniel Bryan. I mean, I think one of those names that I just mentioned would be the most likely and obvious contenders. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the WWE title. We still have 2 more pay-per-views. So will Daniel Bryan even be the champion at WrestleMania? And if he's not, then that could also change some potential opponents for him. Got this one here from Mr. Nickel. Hello, Aaron. Please answer in video. Could Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, and Randy Orton end up going to All Elite Wrestling after WrestleMania 35? So I think it's inevitable where I'm going to get this question about every guy in WWE. Will he end up in AEW? Here's the thing, to use Jeff Meacham's line. Anybody's possible once their contract is up. If AEW ends up building more momentum and is proven to be a force to be reckoned with, you're going to see more guys head over there. It's just going to be the natural process when there's an alternative to WWE where you can make the big money. Looking at those names you mentioned, Ronda Rousey I think is the least likely. Actually, I think Brock is the least likely. Brock just likes doing his thing with WWE, and I think that he's not married to the wrestling business, and I don't think that he would go to All Elite Wrestling. And I don't even know if AEW is a good fit for him. I think the reputation that AEW is trying to build, do they really want a guy who's not going to commit to being a full-time performer? I don't think they're a good match. So I think Lesnar's the least likely. And quite frankly, I think Ronda Rousey is highly unlikely. I think she's going to stick with WWE. And if she's not doing WWE, she's going to focus on raising a family. As for Randy Orton, it's possible. When his contract's up, he's a businessman. I think that he will consider an offer. And there are some interesting matchups we could see Randy Orton in versus Kenny Omega. I mentioned this before. There's a lot of different guys he could face. So maybe Randy Orton, but the other two, probably not. This next one comes from DJ. Hey, Aaron, with the name spelled wrong. Sorry this question is on a touchy subject, but do you think down the road when Owen Hart's wife passes away, the decision to allow or not allow Owen into the Hall of Fame will be up to somebody else? I suppose there's the possibility that Owen's kids would be the ones to make that decision, but who knows if that's what they want? It might not just be Martha. It might be them as well. It's really hard to say. I mean, my gut feeling is one day Owen Hart will go into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think it's a matter of time. I think he will be honored, but it's just a matter of, will Martha ever sign off on it? And if not, would Owen's kids allow it? But I think it would be their decision. I think that WWE would ask them and maybe they would change their mind. Maybe they would have a different attitude than Martha. But then again, maybe not. Really hard to say. Who knows? Got this one here from Boogeyman79. Do you think with Dean Ambrose supposedly leaving, you think WWE will have him have a losing streak till his contract expires? And what is up with Braun Strowman's heel-to-face back-and-forth character change? I don't know what to tell you about Strowman. I think that was a huge mistake, but I've said that before. Now, regarding Ambrose, it could be a scenario where WWE wants to have him put over other people on his way out, and that's the so-called time-honored tradition where the guy leaving puts over other talent, and it could be WWE's way of weakening his name value, so he goes to AEW and he's not as hot of a commodity because the last time casual fans saw him, he was losing on TV every week. So we see that sometimes in wrestling where a guy or gal gets pretty much, I don't want to use the term buried, but they're putting over other people on their way out. Who knows what's going to happen with Dean Ambrose? Maybe he decides to stick around with WWE, in which case I think having him lose all the time would be a mistake. There's also the other option of just having him disappear from TV, out of sight, out of mind. And I feel like damage has already been done to his brand name, quite frankly. So if he just disappeared from television, I don't think that it would make him a whole lot lower in value. I mean, maybe a little bit depending on what happens over the next couple months. Is he going to feud with Nia Jax? And people seem to be very upset about that on the internet. So we'll see. We'll see if Ambrose decides to leave or maybe he changes his mind and sticks around. Got this one here from Andre. Hey Aaron, why is WWE so bad with the NXT tag team call-ups? They just cannot get the momentum they previously had. In your opinion, what is the problem? Long story short, the problem is that you have too many people. You have too many people on the main roster, and there's only so many spots. And we've seen this over the years, however. WWE likes to bring in new people and have fresh characters. So you have this situation where some new characters come in, and then they're cycled out for other characters. We see that a lot in wrestling. And also with WWE, I feel like maybe WWE and Vince McMahon in particular are very quick to give up on talents. Somebody comes in, they're basically Vince's toy for a little bit, and then he gets tired of that toy and moves on to the next toy. If it doesn't catch on right away, he gives up right away and says, next, let's try another guy. And the cycle just keeps going on. And then if Vince finds a guy he really likes, then that's the guy that gets a chance and sticks around. And actually has an opportunity to succeed on the main roster. There's a lot of reasons, a lot of variables. You look at the Revival, it wasn't just WWE booking those guys poorly. I mean, they had the injuries. One guy got injured and then the other guy got injured. That didn't help them at all. That stalled their momentum big time. And then they never were really able to fully regain that momentum. And yeah, you could say that WWE didn't give them a chance, but that's unfortunate. I mean, that's really the unfortunate nature of the industry, is that if you get hurt, there's a healthy person right there, ready, willing, and able to take your spot. It's a cutthroat business, and it's not just the writing, it's not just the booking, but it's also the fact that guys can get hurt and can be replaced very easily. There's a lot of factors as to why guys don't succeed as much on the main roster as you might hope for. And with NXT, things are kept relatively simple. When they get called up to the main roster, things change. WWE tries to market them more and turn them into sports entertainers, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This one comes from Caleb Jacobs. Hey Aaron, who do you think will be the first All-Elite Champion? I believe I did discuss this with the rest of Team NoDQ a little bit. On the NoDQ review, I think we discussed possible first-time All-Elite Wrestling Champions. I feel like it should be the top star. Now, who is the top star? Would that be Chris Jericho? Would it be Kenny Omega? I think Jericho winning might create a bad taste in some people's mouths. But at the same time, Jericho's name value could help elevate the brand, and then Jericho could put over somebody and have that person beat him for the title. My feeling, though, is it should probably be Omega. Omega is arguably the best talent they have, the most well-known talent other than Jericho. So I think I would go with Omega. But then you could argue maybe a lesser-known star that's on the rise, like an Adam Page, should be the first champion. What do you guys think? Leave a comment and let me know. Got this one here from Cody. Are WWE's mistakes coming to bite them in the ass? Moxley, Dean Ambrose for those of you that don't know, is likely going to AEW eventually. Well, let's not say likely. And Kenny Omega just officially signed with All Elite Wrestling. Talent wanting to leave left and right, and WWE is refusing to make any changes. Again, WWE has so many people on the roster, and this is what happens. I mean, eventually the bubble is going to burst, especially if All Elite Wrestling is successful and they continue building momentum. You're going to see a lot of guys leave WWE. Is it going to affect WWE long term? Probably not. They got a lot of people. If 5, 6, 7, 8 people leave, there's many more talented people, very talented people that are ready to go at a moment's notice. But yeah, if you're not happy in WWE, you should explore other options. And now it feels promising that there is an alternative for the talents, not just the fans, but the talents. There's another place to work and make some big money, and possibly a lot of money if things really take off. So, you know, going to All Elite Wrestling could be a calculated risk for a lot of these talents. You know, they're taking a chance leaving WWE, but if AEW blows up, they're in a high position and they'll be making a lot of money, and that's going to work out for them. So it's up for the talents to decide whether the chance is worth it or not. Got this one here from Rollins versus Styles, please. Hey Aaron, did you catch the guy wearing a New Japan shirt in the crowd on Smackdown? Maybe security didn't see it, but how come people are allowed to wear these shirts to WWE events, but not allowed to wear AEW shirts? Just nitpicking here. First of all, I think that WWE doesn't really consider New Japan Pro Wrestling to be competition. Japan is Japan. That's their market. WWE's primary market is the United States, although they are a worldwide company. All Elite Wrestling could be considered to be a threat, but I think WWE has eased up on that. You know, when that Jacksonville rally happened, there was that reported incident of somebody being told to take off the AEW shirt, and then again at the Royal Rumble. But then if you noticed on SmackDown, there were several people with AEW shirts, and they did not have to take off the shirts. So I feel like maybe WWE realized, hey, this is not good publicity to be having them take off the shirts. But I think it tells you the fact that it even happened once, that, yeah, maybe WWE is a little bit threatened because All Elite Wrestling is an American-based company that could potentially compete with WWE for the United States dollars. And that's why WWE might feel threatened and might have had that policy in place, but then decided to ease up on it because of the negative publicity that it got. Got this one here from SCW Wrestling Channel. Hey, Aaron, was wondering what were your favorite moments, matches, and pay-per-views of the original ECW, and what were your thoughts on the Double Jeopardy match at November to Remember 2000? Are you surprised WWE hasn't used it since? Okay, so disclaimer, I did not watch a lot of ECW, so I don't even remember that. This might be a better question to ask somebody like Jeff Meacham or somebody who followed ECW religiously. I was not one of those people. I did like the first ECW pay-per-view, Barely Legal. I mean, that was probably the most noteworthy one as far as I'm concerned. And I liked Steve Austin's work. I liked Mick Foley's work. You know, the stuff they did when they left WCW, when they were angry and they were venting, the Kane Dewey stuff. I mean, that was all great. So to see those guys really start to develop their characters a step further than what they had in WCW and just really have that passion and energy. Those were my favorite moments from ECW, the moments that ultimately influenced WWE to sign those guys, and that's what really changed the business in the long run. And just the overall fact that ECW brought more of an edgier style that forced WWE and WCW to get with the times. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you all for watching as always. Head over to nodq.com/shirts if you would like to support the site. Pick up a t-shirt. I'm trying to hit 60,000 subscribers by WrestleMania. Can it happen? It's up to you guys. I need your help. So if you have a moment, please share a link to this video. Tell a friend. If you have a wrestling friend, somebody who watches WWE, have them check out NoDQ Video. And on that note, I will see you guys next time.